Thank you, Dr. Natarajan, and truly an honor to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me to this amazing platform. I welcome you to Thrive Through Change. This has been a really interesting journey in the last few months since Corona crisis hit the world globally. We are really going through unprecedented times. In fact, the world has probably never collectively faced a crisis of something, to this magnitude. And specifically, it honors me to be here because I think the medical profession has been amazing. You are guys are the soldiers right there facing the battle heads on. But along with this, I see challenges everywhere. Just few days ago, I was a speaker at the Abu Dhabi Women's Empowerment Group. And there were these really successful CEOs of some amazing companies again, who said for working mothers, this has been the most difficult time in history. Because when you are doing a multi roles of being a parent at home, being a wife, being a mother, working, it got really, really difficult. So I completely see this and I acknowledge it. And thank you very much for the introduction. And from a very, very young age, I was always interested in what is it that life gives us? What is the more that life gives us? So I always wanted to find that wisdom. I make things simple. A simple concept is a life is what you make out of it. A change of thought is a change of life. Let me expand this in Tal Ben Shahar's words, which is really nice. Choice is a creation. So when I choose, I'm actually creating. To choose is to create. And through my choices, I can create my reality. So my workshops is a compilation of a lot of work, a lot of research, a lot of studies. So sit back, relax, please put your devices off for only 35, 40 minutes. And I hope to create some aha moments of change right here. Change, the big, big buzzword. Change is the only constant in our life. It's the only permanent thing that we've been told from a very young age. Change, adapt, change. Did we really understand the true meaning of what it meant to change? I think this is one of the most important factors in today's world. And how we adapt to this change, how agile we are in this period where the world is completely, the whole landscape is changing. How we adapt, how agile we are, both physically, mentally, emotionally, and psychologically, is now probably considered the most important thing for our life success. Yet, we cannot spell the word challenge without change. So, where is this all happening? Where is this whole drama happening? So, many of you will say, what do you mean? It's happening out there. Yes, it is. It is happening out there. That's the external world. But the real drama of my life, your life, each one, the 7 billion people, our reality is being created in our mind. The mind is the most powerful muscle. It's the mecca of thought. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets and the more it expands. So, just like you go to the gym to build your muscle, you can actually build your mental resilience. And resilience to me is like building blocks. So it's not like saying, okay, I'm 6 feet tall and I'm going to remain there. No. In fact, I like to describe it more like a leaky tire. So, how we manage ourselves in this really unpredictable environment is to build resilience. To withstand, to bounce back are the key factors. Being resilient is not the absence of issues, it's not the absence of problems, it's not even the absence of stress. In fact, it's because you're resilient that you can face all these challenges. So, like I said, in simple terms, everything that's happening out there will continue happening out there. That's the external world. How I allow it to filter to me, how I allow it to affect me, is the filters I create of power to keep myself strong, my internal landscape strong. Finally, we all, each one of us, sleeping in our own skin, with our own thoughts. So that is the power of choice, that thing to choose. Even currently, if you're sharing space in a house with, say, 3, 4, 5 people, all those 5 people are going through the same external reality. But all 5 of them, and I'm pretty sure I can lay my bet on it, is creating their own internal reality. And in doing so, how they are coming out of this pause in our life. So to me, I took this as a privilege pause. Never before in my life of so many years had I got this time to really sit back and reflect and see whether where my attention was lying, was it serving me well or not. So we can change every single day. But I'll keep going on about it. So a few things that I always say is to live mindfully. I teach self-compassion and kindness, and I need to bring that here more because for the medical fraternity, to be self-compassionate, to be kind to your own self is extremely important. You know, we tend to be kinder to others. We don't tend to be kind to ourselves. So we need to be kinder to ourselves. Research shows that people who are compassionate to themselves are less likely to be depressed, anxious, fearful, stressful. So please be a little more self compassionate to yourself. Bring kindness into your life. A quick question to all of you, and you can use the chat box here. Where do you live? So I've spoken for about 2 or 3 minutes or 4 minutes. So it's a rhetorical question, but let's see how smart you all are. Where do you live? So I do not want your physical addresses. We all live in our mind. This is where the drama is happening, in our mind. We all collectively are actually residing in our mind. So let's try something, okay? And I love having physical, personal workshops because I love that energy of being the touch feel. But we're going to deal with this webinar and this virtual space that life has thrown us into. So I need you to participate. But at the same time, I got X-ray vision. So if I know, I will know if you're not participating. On the count of 3, I want you to shout in your loudest voice, I am amazing. And it doesn't matter. I am amazing. Okay, last time, guys. I am amazing.
I am amazing.
Perfectly. Did you smile when you said that? I can say yes. Because you know what? It's quirky. We never do that. We never acknowledge ourselves. We never say that we have done a great job. Well, when I use the word never, I mean we seldom do it. You know, to just acknowledge, self acknowledge, be happy with what we have done. We're very self critical. So most of the time, you can see the things that we do wrong, but we tend not to see all the milestones of our life. So when you say, I am amazing, you bring that power back to you. So I need you to try this out on a regular basis. Our brains are very, very complex machinery. When they are well oiled, they work to perfection. Like you can see babies. You can see these beautiful baby faces. They're always smiling. They're happy with their lives. They love everything around them. And when they don't, they will scream to get attention. So, you know, it's all there. But over time, something happens. I call them saboteurs in our life. These saboteurs can be of different kinds. It can be one very, very self critical, blamers, controllers, people who think we are never performing the best that we can, judgmental. So there are many saboteurs that come into play from a very young age. It could be in the form of family, teachers, social institutes, peer pressure, any of them. They're constantly at play. So let's go back to the source if we need to change them, to go back to being positive. It's happening in your mind. So to be aware of your thoughts, what is it that you're thinking? Is it bringing you the life that you truly deserve? Are you living to your true potential? What happens in the mind affects the body. The mind is not just the brain. Every single cell has an intelligence. And this intelligence is the ability to be able to think in a positive way. So some people see the world as cup as half full, some see it half empty. I say it's your cup, go and refill it. There are times I feel down, but I have the ability to turn that around. Research has shown that how happy we are, 50% of it is in our genetics. So when I say our genes, by Sonia Lebronsky and a lot of other researchers have shown that it's in our genetics. 50%. 10% is in our life circumstances. So life circumstances, the fact that you're sitting here at 6 o'clock in the evening, I feel your life circumstances is sorted. But 40% is in our actions. And again, where is the action really happening? So it's our thoughts that creating our feelings continuously. So the ability to be able to rethink my reality, to see it from a different perspective, because when you change your perspective, reality changes also. Here I want to bring about a very important correlation. Positive people are more optimistic. Hundreds of research done, and all of this is researched, which you will see at the end of the workshop. Positive people are more hopeful. They have more imagination. When I say imagination, problem solving, creative, to think out of the box, to think about life in a different way. They are more resilient. They also tend to be a lot more generous. But the one factor that I feel is they are living in a state of gratitude. When we move to a state of grateful living, to be thankful for so many things, so many wonders that we have, a shift happens on a subconscious level. And that shift moves you into a happier space. Are happier people more successful? Absolutely. Happier people have more life successes. I had this great honor of meeting this amazing person called Arthur Brooks. He did research on 30,000 Americans. And he found for every $1 that they earned, they donated 14% to charity. But here's what the amazing thing that happened. Over time, for every $1 they donated, they received 3.75 more. So being generous, being in gratitude shifts the baseline of being happy. I love Dr. Joseph Murphy. And if you have the time, please read this amazing book called The Power of the Subconscious Mind. So we have two minds, objective, subjective. Left brain, right brain, sleeping, awake, conscious, subconscious, and it can go on. And we all think our conscious mind is running our show because we all logical people. Science shows that, logics. But actually, the subconscious mind is running our entire life. And I'm going to show you in the next couple of slides exactly how. Our conscious mind is our behavior. It's the subconscious mind where the thoughts, feelings, life experiences are sitting in. So the one analogy that I love to give out here is by Louise Hay. I urge you to read the book, Heal Your Life. We are like a gardener where we are planting seeds continuously into our subconscious mind. So you're very, very fertile mental garden that you're planting seeds into. You need to be aware. Are you planting those seeds that you really want to receive and reap? So just like you plant the seeds of an apple tree, you're not going to get an instant apple tree. But if you give it the right temperature and you nurture it, you will reap the benefits. We have approximately 60,000 thoughts in a day. That's a lot of thinking. That's a huge amount of thoughts. How many of them are positive and that are serving you well? Or how many of them are in a loop negative? This is the negative chatter that can take away from your positive experiences. And every seed and every thought that you sow in your subconscious mind reaps in your body or in your environment. So where do these thoughts come from? They come from our belief systems. So we are born into a certain family. We are born into a certain religion, into certain value systems. We have actually inherited our entire being on birth. So if you see out here, our life experience and childhood experiences create our belief system. I call them culture scape. So that's the culture scape that we are born into. But yet, like I always say, there are two truths. One is a physical truth. The sun is shining, that's a mountain, that's a hill, this is a table. And then there is the culture, a relative truth. So when you want to challenge something that has been in your past as a belief system that's not serving you well, which is not creating positive thoughts and feelings, please revisit it because then your entire life changes. The power of the habit, the 21 days, any habit that you want to change, including the way you think, can be changed over time. So in Steve Jobs' words, most of the time it says we can connect the word dots looking backwards, but not looking forward. I urge you to see how your life is panning out from how you are thinking about yourself and about the life around you. So this is the belief systems that we inherit and how it's serving us. Now I'm going to say something a little different. It's how belief systems of the world around you panned out and made you the person you are. So Dr. Robert Rosenthal and Miss Jamison wanted to see whether we could impact children in a certain way to change their performances. They did this amazing study because they wanted to find out whether teachers' expectation can actually influence the students' performance. They did this study in an elementary school. They took a sample of students and they told the teachers that there are few kids here that are outperforming themselves. They shared the names with the teachers, but they told them you're not allowed to give them any differential treatment. There is an honor code. No teacher went and did anything consciously different. But something happened. It may be the way subconsciously the teachers treated these kids. These kids were tested on the parameters of intelligence before the experiment and after. These kids were not outperformance. They were, in fact, just on a random selection. But believe it or not, 9 months later, each kid outperformed his ability. So when something you believe about yourself to be true, that becomes your reality. And somewhere we can influence people to perform better or not so good in our belief about them. Y'all are doctors, y'all are leading some amazing lives, y'all are healers. At any given point, you can understand what I'm trying to say. I've had incidents with doctors which I've known that it has been serious, more serious than what it was. And the doctor has said, you will be fine. And I have been fine because he's been able to convince me I will be well. So that's the Pygmalion effect. So when we are looking at the world that is constantly changing, in this a world that we are all struggling or facing challenges, we need to believe that we will come out stronger. That there is some correlationship happening on a very cosmic level, and the world will reset itself and everything will be better. I'm a huge believer of Louise Hay. Okay. And Louise Hay has a very, very simple thing about how our thoughts create our reality. But before I go there, I want you to take a paper and pen if you have one, or just think it to yourself. Write 2 positive and 2 negative things that have impacted you in your life. Anything too positive. 2 positive things somebody said to you at a young age, which miraculously you tended to achieve, or something 2 negative things that were said to you, and it has still in the subconscious lurked or lingered out there. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Just think about it. Okay, I hope you have. So I'm a huge believer of Louis Hay. We are each responsible for our experiences. So you're going to tell me, how are we responsible for the experiences that are happening around us now? You are not responsible for the external experiences, but how I allow the external world to affect my world, those experiences, I'm totally responsible. So, for example, I cut myself, I need to go to the hospital. That fact is never going to change. I'm hurt, I need to go to the hospital. But how I allow myself to handle this, that is the memory that's going to be left behind with me. So that feeling, that experience, the wound will heal, but I will remember and have a memory of the experience. And of course, this applies to everything in our life. It can apply to our relationships, our professions, our interaction with people. So we are all really responsible for our experience. The experience I'm having with anybody, I am responsible for that. I cannot allow to sit in a blamer victim space. So with the crisis we are going through, I decided somewhere in March, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to come out of this stronger. That decision, I think all of us have made. That's why we are on this platform today. Our thoughts create our reality. So Viktor Frankl is a Holocaust survivor, and he wrote in his memoir that the loss of the human freedom is the will to choose one's attitude in any given circumstances. So there he was saying that your thoughts create your reality. So when you have a negative thought, it's like a drop of water, you know. But if you continuously keep dropping water, what will happen? It'll be a nasty puddle. And the puddle will then grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And over time, it can drown us. So when we do not live in a state of being positive, our behavior could be positive, but where are we really living? In our mind. And that's where we want to be, in the most positive space. So it's only a thought, and a thought can be changed. Is it easy? Absolutely not. I'm not saying it's easy. Is it impossible? No, I'm not even saying that. It's a habit we are in. We are in this habit. We are in a loop. So right now, if I ask all of you, are you okay? Right now, thumbs up if you're okay. Are you okay? Up, down. 95% of the time in my workshops, I've seen a thumbs up. Because I've asked you the question, are you okay now? I have brought you into the space of now. I made you mindfully come now at approximately 6:30 in the evening. What happens? Yeah, I see Dr. Sonal. That what happens is we don't tend to live in the now. We do not. I know we are Homo sapiens, the wise men, but actually there is a new word being coined. It's called Homo prospectus. We are future oriented animals, stroke humans. That's why we have survived. But by stepping into the future, we lose the now. Or by living in the past, we live in a space of whatever happened in the past. It could be regret, hurt, distrust, something wrong, or the future could bring anxiety and fear. But the minute those two dissolve and you bring yourself into now, like I said, 95% of the time you'll be okay. The now gives you the freedom to choose. The now gives you that comfort to say you're fine. You trust more. There's another word I really love is trust life. Life will out. Life will find a way. Trust life. In trusting life, a magnitude of spaces change here. Again, you get into a grateful space. You get into a gratitude space. Okay, so just to see how you can change a habit, I want all of you to do. I can only see one or two people here, but I know there is a whole lot of people behind. I want you to take your two hands like this in front of you, your two hands like this in front of you, and I want you to clap. 1, 2, 3, clap. See the dominant thumb. So mine is the left thumb. Okay, I'm going to do it again. 1, 2, 3, clap. My dominant thumb is again the left thumb. Now I want you to take your two hands again and use the other thumb. 1, 2, 3, use the other thumb. Okay, again, 1, 2, 3, use the other thumb. It's possible, right? With awareness, you're able to change even a small thing like this. You're able to change how you pick up your phone, whether it picks it up from the right hand or the left hand. Those is the small things, the small habits that you can change to invite a new future. Charles Duhigg James Clear, Power of Habit. Power of Habit talks about so many different aspects of our life that we can change to invite a better life. Finally, when we resolve negative emotions, we free ourselves to welcome a positive future. What do I mean by negative emotions? We all have baggage. We couldn't have reached here without baggage. So right now, again, I want you to pick up your mobile phone. Pick up your mobile phone and put it way up to the ceiling. Way up. And I know you all are very strong men, so you'll be able to carry this for a long time. Now, if I tell you to keep your hand up there for an hour, you will be able to do it. For 2, 3, 4 hours, you'll be able to do it. But over time, your hand will start paining. So this is what I mean. Keep your emotional baggage down. Let it go. It doesn't have space in your today. In Sanskrit, to forgive means to untie the knot that binds you to that unpleasant space. Let it go. Free yourself. When we really love ourselves, when we approve ourselves, when we give unconditional, self-compassionate kindness to ourselves, life works. Because then you know you've done your best in everything. And when you've done your best, there is really nothing more that we can do. Whether, again, I'm stressing on relationships, at work, in the profession, there's just that much you can do. So now we know the power of thought. We know our thoughts are creating our feelings. And our feelings is a bag of emotions that are creating a behavior. And then the vicious cycle goes on and on and on. So by being aware of it, you can actually change your life. Okay, so I'm going to do this really interesting exercise. I want you to, on the count of 3, close your eyes and do not think of anything red. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Do not think of anything red. No Santa Claus, no hearts, no Christmas, no balloons, nothing. Okay, now open your eyes. How many people thought of the color red? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up, thumbs down. If you thought of the color red, I want a thumbs up. Okay, how many people thought about the color red? But I said, do not think of the color red. I stretched on it. Do not think of the color red. That is the power of negativity that we have allowed in our life. The minute something says no or do not do it, we tend to go towards it the fastest. You've been complimented so much in your life. You may forget the compliments you received, but let somebody say something negative to you and we will remember it longer. Let it go. It doesn't have space. We just got to be happier today. Like I always say, kal ho na ho. That's it. I love another thing that the US Marines say, and I have it actually stuck on my laptop here. We must learn to improvise, overcome, and adapt. That's the US Marines message. Okay, I can keep on giving these kind of examples. Richard Wiseman, a researcher, wanted to find out whether there are really people who are lucky or not so lucky. And of course, science doesn't support this concept that he's lucky, he gets it all, or she's lucky. So he wanted to do this experiment. So he had this amazing crowd like you all of you, and he asked them, who do you think is lucky and who thinks they're not so lucky? So people put their hands up, down. I think I'm super lucky, so I'm going to put both my hands up, okay? Now he divided the group, the lucky and the not so lucky. And he distributed newspapers to all of them. And he said, whoever finds out how many advertisements are there in the newspaper will win a prize. From the lucky group, they got, well, first one got it in 10 seconds. The unlucky group, people took up to 1.5 minutes to answer. So now you're going to ask me how. How can that be? It's so easy to just count the advertisements. Because on the second page of the newspaper, it was written, there are 42 advertisements in this paper, and that's all that was needed. They didn't need to go through the whole paper. The lucky, Mr. Lucky, or Miss Lucky, sorry, Miss Lucky, was tuned into that. Your energy tuning to see that instead of just looking at it as an advertisement. So this is the power of what you have in you to change your life, to bring in positivity, to be luckier. Okay, last quiz. How many people think they are going to win the lottery? A lottery is a metaphor. It could be the job you want, the promotion you want, the relationship you want, anything. How many people think they are going to win the lottery? So when I do a workshop of say 40, 45 people, I do physical personal workshops a lot. I get about actually 50 to 55% saying yes and the balance saying no. So it's almost an equal ratio. Then I ask them, what is the one tangible factor that people thought they are going to get the lottery? The one tangible factor. Buy the ticket. You need to buy the ticket. If I want to lose 10 kilos, I need to go to the gym. I cannot sit here losing my 10 kilos. So with everything in life, knowing is not doing. The action is needed. Knowing is not doing. If I know how to do something, doesn't mean I can do it. Huge difference. Okay, I have a very exciting experiment out here that I'll share with you all. Again, on how powerful our mind is and how can we tune it to live in a better space. And because you all are from the medical fraternity, I'm actually going to share this concept with you. So a group of Japanese researchers took 13 students. A group of Japanese researchers took 13 students and they got blindfolded. They took the left hand and they told them that I'm rubbing your left hand with poison ivy. Poison ivy, incidentally, is a very allergic shrub. It's a very, very allergic. You always break into some kind of an allergy or hives. So they took the left hand and they rubbed it with a harmless shrub. It was nothing. It was literally just grass. But they told them it's being rubbed with poison ivy. Each one of them had a reaction. That's the power of belief. That's the power of thought. Each one of the 13 had a reaction. Then they took the right hand and they said they are rubbing it with a harmless shrub. And they actually put poison ivy. And only 3 people had a reaction. So your mind is continuously working to an expectation theory. So this is the placebo effect that I'm talking about with doctors too. When a doctor tells you you're going to be okay, you make yourself better in that way. I had asked you all to write 2 positive and 2 negative things. I'd like you to change the 2 negative things that you have written about yourself to positive. It doesn't have space in your life today. The 2 negative things that you wrote, anything, it's personal. Please change it to positive from today onwards and say it to yourself that I can or I will or I am, whatever the negative thing can be. Finally, do you think it's important to have mental strength? Is mental strength important? Absolutely. Because when you're mentally resilient, and I'm just going to share four aspects out here. You learn from your mistakes. We all make mistakes. We are fallible human beings. We made some big mistakes and some not so big. and some really life-changing mistakes. But it's a learning process. We have to keep learning from things. And where your attention goes, your energy flows and life changes. So when you're mentally strong and you're learning from a mistake, you're also understanding to be kinder to yourself in that mistake. Mental strength gives you the courage to face your fears. There's something called an impact bias. An impact bias means we build up things in our minds so much that if this happens, that will happen. That's an impact bias. And there's so much research done that most of the times, even in the most disastrous situation, our baseline of happiness comes back to normal of 6 months ago. So there's research done with quadriplegics and lottery winners on both spectrums, and their baseline happiness figures came down to the same what they were 6 months ago. Another thing I want to share with you is something called ABCD. It's adversity, belief, consequences, disputation. There's an adversity we are going through. Let's call the corona crisis. There's a belief system that comes into play. That belief system will rule your life. On that adversity, that belief system will rule your life. The consequences that are going to happen may be true or maybe not true, but we can dispute it. So with everything in our life, we have the ability to look through it. Mental strength also helps you to manage your emotions. We are emotional beings. We are not robots. We live with our heart, our feelings. We love people, all of it. But we also need to have something to regulate the emotional highs and lows. We cannot go into a high and a low. We need to create some good self-centered baseline. I teach meditation. I have to meditate every day. Meditation makes me self-centered. It roots me. Incidentally, if any of y'all ever want to reach out to me for a 3-minute, 4-minute, 5-minute meditation, y'all are most welcome to. Please do. It helps me regulate, it grounds me. I do a rooting exercise where you root yourself, you become stronger. Mental strength also helps you to tune out of criticism and unhelpful advice. That I feel sometimes we all need. We tend to be living in a world where what everything everybody says to us may affect us. It shouldn't be. If I'm mentally strong, I know myself. Okay, so what are the tips and techniques? Change the slide, please. Okay, how do I build mental resilience? So if you look on the right-hand side, these are all the physical aspects. Look after yourself more. Definitely eat better. We need to build an immunity always. Exercise. We know exercise is a huge factor here. Sleep. Sleep is the elixir of life. Everything gets repaired. Your mood is better. Physically, emotionally, you're better. Please meditate for 5 minutes. Even if you don't have 5 minutes, try and do it for 2 minutes. I love the last thing, practice gratitude. So gratitude, here I just want to stretch for 1 more minute. Gratitude is not something where you say, if somebody brings you a cup of coffee, we are social animals, we tend to say thank you. We tend to say thank you. But here I'm talking about gratitude and living gratefully to a deeper meaning. To be in gratitude for so much that life has given you. Not necessarily when somebody sends you a cake or somebody brings you coffee or you get a bunch of flowers. I'm talking about expand your vision to bring in so much more. Be kinder to yourself. Very important. I've stretched that many, many times. We are not kind to ourselves. We are kind to people we love. We are kind to you are kind to your patients. Be kinder to yourself. On the left-hand side is mindful of your thoughts, which is exactly what I worked through with you all. Adapt to change. Again, if you are stuck in a space of, I hate the rain, you're not going to be able to survive. Go dance in the rain. Adapt to what it is. And finally, without rain, there is no rainbows. Put things in perspective. Why do I say put things in perspective? Because sometimes we can tend to overplay something. When you put things in perspective, you see it for what it really is. Check your attitude. I feel like sometimes our attitude may be not serving us well. Finally, build and maintain good relationship. Huge deal. Huge deal. We all are meant to be socially connected with each other, even in spaces like that. It gives me a smile to see Dr. Natarajan here on my screen. Build social connectivity. We have to do that. We are all social animals. We need to be connected. So even though we may not be living in a space of teas and coffees and lunch and dinners and parties, we can still be connected today. Finally, live consciously and mindfully. I like the last one. Find a purpose and meaning in our life. For me, it's very, very important to be able to do something good on a daily basis, even if it's something small, to have a purpose to wake up to in the morning instead of allowing life to drag itself out. Yeah, so that's it. Somebody was asking me something in the chat. I'm just going to pull it out. How do you do 5-minute meditation? Okay, so maybe after this, if people want to stay on, Dr. Natarajan, I will talk about that. Okay, change the slide, please. So the happiest people don't have the best of everything. They just make the best of everything. I love Tal Ben Shahar. He's fabulous. A positive mind is the fuel we require to live life to its fullest. Let's lead our life and let's not life lead us. This is the Global Life series I'm doing. I urge all of you to please subscribe to Meraki.in. You will get an article from me every Monday. I hope you enjoy my writing. I blog every Monday. And I'm doing the Global Life series where I talk to a lot of interesting speakers. It's free. You can just follow me on Instagram. You will see it everywhere. It's the mind, body, soul. And you will see the number of speakers that I have been on the platform. Change the slide, please. So I did one with Hamza, I did Suman, I've got the psychiatrist, I've had Dr. Gopika Kapoor, I've had Bhagyashri, the film star, I've had Madhu, I've had Ashton Doctor, Power of Habit. So all of these are available on my Instagram. Plus, when you subscribe, you will get a message on a Monday for what we are doing in the week. These are the thrive-through changes that I've done. Partnered with various corporates, people like yourselves, with a college. These are the other Meraki workshop: Positive Psych, Positive Me, Philosophy of Happiness, Abundance 360, Inner Wellness, big one, very big one. Dare to Dream for more college students, Honoring Boundaries on Relationships. These are the books and studies from where I've written my workshop. Our various associates. Okay, last. You can't leave without shouting. Okay, count of 3, huh? 1, 2, 3. I am amazing. Can you unmute yourself, everybody, please? Just unmute yourself, please. Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
I am amazing.
Amazing.
I am amazing.
I am amazing.
Amazing.
I am amazing.
Okay, thank you very much. That brings us to the end of the program. Thank you so much. Those are my details. And yes, thank you very much. Really, really appreciated this opportunity to be here. Thanks, Dr. Natarajan.
Thank you, Farhana. So I will share the screen to introduce the. Oh, can I share the screen, Raman? Raman and Ansita, can I share the screen?
Yes, good evening, Dr. Natarajan.
Good evening, Dr. Raju. I'm in Tenkasi, near Kerala.
Oh, you must come and have dinner with me then.
And now Asha Raman from Trivandrum is coming to see me now. So I'm just introducing Dr. N.S.D. Raju is a past president of All India Ophthalmic Society, and also he is a part of the Indian Medical Association Prevention of Diabetic Blindness Program, along with Dr. BNR Subudhi, whom I'll be just telling. And I wanted to introduce the three young people who are in the panel, along with Dr. Subudhi and Dr. Raju. So Dr. Digvijay Singh is a MD Fakewa special interest in pediatric ophthalmology and strabismus, neuro-ophthalmology and glaucoma. Holds to his credit 20 awards, 75 publications, 20 book chapters, 1 book, and 60 abstracts in proceedings. Has delivered over 100 lectures in 8 international, 16 national, and 24 state conferences, apart from the virtually delivering over 20 lectures and webinars. Great interest in technology in eye care, and is the co-founder of a technology company, Culf Innovations, where he has developed an AI tool for glaucoma diagnosis called RIAG, a research guide, co-guide, and advisor to over a dozen students from different universities across the country. He is currently the President, Young Ophthalmology Society of India, and Treasurer, Indian Neuro-Ophthalmology Society. And he is the Director, Noble Eye Care, Gurugram, HOD of Ophthalmology, Narayana Super Specialty Hospital, Gurugram, HOD of Ophthalmology, Madhukar Rainbow Children's Hospital, New Delhi. And we have another young dynamic, Dr. Sonal Kalia. She's a gold medalist, assistant professor, upgraded Department of Ophthalmology, Savai Man Singh Medical College, Jaipur, anterior segment surgeon, Vice President of Young Ophthalmic Society of India, Executive Member of Jaipur Ophthalmic Society, and she's a great leadership development program alumni of All India Ophthalmic Society, for which I'm the mentor. And another LDP alumni, Dr. Divakant Shah, who is the secretary of PSDO, DNB, MNMS, FVRS, is a vitreoretinal ocular oncology and ROP consultant at IQ Super Specialty Eye Hospital, Lucknow. He has completed his retina training from reputed institutes like Sri Shankar Dev Netralaya, Guwahati, and Bioscience to Stanford, San Francisco. He holds the post of General Secretary, Young Ophthalmic Society of India, and Editor-in-Chief, Young Ophthalmologist Stamp. He is the recipient of various international ophthalmic awards like Achievement Awards by the Asia Pacific Academy of Ophthalmology, Bangkok 2019, Ophthalmic Hero of India 2019 and 2018, the Yasutan Award from Asia Pacific Academy of Ophthalmology, Singapore in 2017, and the APVRS Award 2018, Malaysia, Singapore, and IJO Best of Best Award 2017-18. He has published extensively 30 publications, indexed and non-indexed, and book chapters, and has been invited faculty at various international conferences like American Academy of Ophthalmology, Asia Pacific Academy of Ophthalmology, URETNA, etc., and presented in conferences held at various international WOC Mexico, APO Singapore, APO Hong Kong, APO Malaysia, URETNA Vienna, and national forums. He is a reviewer for PLOS ONE, IJO, IGCEO, etc. Other awards include Best Poster VRSA 2018, KR Datta Gold Medal for Best Research Paper 2018, First Prize Dr. Raman Mittal Gold Medal, OPA 2015, AIOS IJO Writing Competition 2017, Video and Second Prize OTSI 2015, and OSA 2016, State Ophthalmology Quiz Champion 2015. And we have Dr. Professor B. Nageshwara Subudhi, completed MBBS from MKCG Medical College with honors in physiology and biochemistry in 1975. Pune in 1982, ophthalmology from Behrampur University at MKCG Medical College, Behrampur in 1984. Undergone vitreoretinal fellowship from Retina Foundation, Ahmedabad, under the guidance of Dr. P.N. Nagpal in 1987. Selected from a fellowship by Institution of Clinical Ophthalmology at Kiryu, Japan, under Professor Akira Mumase. Received 5 gold medals from Behrampur University. Published scientific papers in various national and international journals. Presented scientific papers in international conferences held at Singapore, Sydney, and Malaysia, and is ex-head of the Department of Ophthalmology, MKCG Medical College, Behrampur. And we also have Dr. Raju, who's, as I mentioned, is the past president of All India Ophthalmic Society. I'm also going to invite Dr. Naresh Motwani from UK. In the beginning, he could not join, and now he joined. And I should thank Farhana for a wonderful. I know her quite well, but I don't know this part of Farhana. After that, I received the newsletter, and I'm happy that I took the time to introduce the young ophthalmologists, because I think they have achieved a lot at young age, and we want to encourage them And I think they should not feel contented at this stage. And I think they're not really, what do you call, greedy, but I think they have to work more to get more so that they make India proud. And we have young India. And thank you, Farhana, for a wonderful, I think I learned a lot, and I want to learn the 5-minute meditation, but I give the platform to Dr. Digvijay Singh, Divakant, Dr. BNR Subudhi, Sonal Kalia, and Dr. Raju. And I'll probably send the link to Dr. Naresh Motwani in UK. He's a senior ophthalmologist in United Kingdom. Dr. Digvijay, you can start.
Thank you, Dr. Natarajan sir. Thank you for having us. And it was a wonderful talk by Ms. Farhana. I think we all really learned a lot from the, from the Young Ophthalmologist Society of India. I would like to, thank ma'am and thank you for having us as a part of this. And, while this talk was going on, so many things were going through our mind in terms of our thoughts, what we come across on a day-to-day basis. It kind of reminds us sometimes, when we're in the middle of a surgery and we get stuck somewhere, if you kind of think, I'll have difficult...
Digvijay? Now,
Yes.
Sonal has texted that she may have to go. Can we ask if she has questions so that she can ask and then go?
Sure.
Sorry, I interrupted you, Digvijay.
No worries.
Sonal? I said, I saw your text.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. So, thank you so much for reading my text and responding, sir. I would just request Farhana ma'am and you to say some inspiring words for all the young residents who are finding a lot of challenging things going on in their training period. Like some are posted for COVID duty, something else, like things that they never expected while taking ophthalmology, and the number of surgeries are changing. So, like if you would just say some inspiring words to them to really give them a better mindset to face these challenges.
Farhana, she wants... Farhana?
Yeah, hi. Yes.
I think she's working in medical college in Jaipur, and any residents, like for example, posted in ophthalmology or dermatology, are also posted in COVID duty, and they are a little scared in the beginning, and they have done it. All of them have done it all over India.
Right.
They're in eye or they're in gynecology. They were all posted in COVID, doing the COVID time.
Well, the one thing I'll definitely say is to know that things will be better. It will. And I know that they're probably hearing this from a lot of people. But to be truly strong, like I say, resilience is a huge factor, Dr. Sonal. We need to build our resilience. And in resilience, we are building so many things. It's your positive thoughts. It's your fact that you take maybe a couple of minutes every, few hours to sit back on your own, to be gathering your thoughts. It's also very difficult to really just give something to an unknown group. So I'm not sure what else I can say. My entire 45 minutes was about this, was how to build resilience, how to thrive through change. Can you share this with them?
Yes, surely, ma'am, I will share this. And if Natarajan sir can also say something for residents posted all over India and working hard and facing a lot of upheavals in their system of learning, in their work, and number of surgeries have changed, thesis topics. Like a lot is there which maybe sir can understand and say something about.
Sure, Sonal. I think I complimented Digvijay and Divakant during the YOSI, one of the highest attended webinars with 15,000 young ophthalmologists all over the world attended. And I think most of them were worried that they're doing their second year, third year residency, and then they are not able to do surgeries because of the corona. And then I think the senior surgeons want to do quickly. And I think I told that time, instead of calling that as a break, learn something new. I know even managing a COVID was new, whereas you act like a physician there. You learn what to do. And I think at the same time, whatever you're as an eye doctor, you can't do eye surgeries. But 6 months, I think you can do extra investment, and you don't call it a failure. And I think even doing the things for some reason, I want to quote Sundar Pichai's the convocation address this time, and also Barack Obama. Both of them were asked to give the convocation address because Sundar Pichai said, I run the Google and the YouTube, and he says, now I'm addressing only a camera, and I'm walking in my backyard, and giving a talk and I don't see anybody. And that's what is the convocation, he said. But he said, don't give up. And he said during the convocation, he mentioned there was a convocation in 1919 also when there was Spanish flu. And there was a convocation after 26/11 after the World Trade Center tragedy. And I said there was a convocation. And he says, according to him, those graduates who graduated have done the best. And I think also we should remember Steve Jobs' convocation address in 2004 to Stanford. He said he never went to college, but he said, stay hungry, stay foolish. And he also that time did not know he is going to die of cancer because he thought he was actually he was getting out of the cancer, but unfortunately they declared benign. And I think 2007 he was declared he had secondaries, and he went into alternative medicine. He didn't believe allopathy, but finally he had a painful death. And that's why his book says, stay hungry and stay foolish. One lesson is I think there are few people like them who are meant for the rest of the world and not for the family. He has confessed that he was rude to the family, even though he gave money, but he didn't give them time. And he said, the last 3 months, I could not hire anybody to take my pain of cancer. And he said he had pain in the body, in the pain in the bone, in the muscles. And he said he was crying and nobody could take that pain. Neither is the best friend or the wife or anybody, or even you or any servant says, okay, I will. So this is the same thing I ask every patient. When you are hungry, can your son or daughter eat? And when you have an eye problem, how can your son or daughter cry? And I think it's reverse, vice versa. I think when you have a problem, for example, all doctors, we had a problem of all the doctors had a problem during COVID. So in April, I gave a talk, COVID-19, happy times. A lot of people called me and fought with me. I said, how can you do that? I said, come on. I know it is a blow. April, May, June was zero income. I had to pay 100 staff in the hospital, 50 in the foundation. Some staff could not come. They have resigned, but it's all right. But I borrowed money and paid them. But I never was tensed. But I don't know why. I was never tensed. Maybe because I have Farhana as my friend and we have ESP, extrasensory perception, and we are in touch. And I think we heal each other. She prays for a lot of people, and I think that works. So be positive, and all the time, I think whatever happens, you don't react, you respond. And that means when there's a problem coming or even an animal going to attack, you look at it and take your time to respond. You may not take few seconds that time when an animal comes, but when a problem comes, you may have sometimes few hours, and you may have few days, few months. Depends on what you want, you can respond. And this corona was there for almost 9 months. Even now, it's not gone totally, but in the south, I'm there and I don't see anybody with mask also. Only I'm the only guy wearing the mask and going. And but it's all right. But I think you can win any problem. And I think corona was some spiritual test for all of us. And I know it's the biggest test for the young doctors. The same problem for the doctors who are seniors and surgeons. And I think you can imagine 60 plus surgeons have higher risk. So I wear a PPE, I wear a double mask, and then I'm using 3D surgery, I have a glass. So I think it's all right. Now it's become a normal routine. And like I wear a suit to the clinic, which I made my own uniform. Nobody told. So as Farhana said, you appreciate yourself. And I keep telling, suddenly last 1 week, I don't know what happened to me. I went and told the patient, I'm the world-class surgeon. I will do the best surgery, but the chances are 1%. But if you come in the 99, again, thank God and don't ask me questions. But I don't know. I think it takes time. But in spite of that, what I'm saying, I think you have to, it's not boasting. You have to be sure of yourself. And every young doctor who has lost time can do some practice in simulator, go to the practicing eye, and then also take extra and then extra time, and then go and ask for extension. You're a professor, maybe you should give extension to your students. I don't know what is the procedure. And I have told my residents, you can come back, work with me. Like one of my residents has gone to Hinduja, and she's happy. So I think each one has to find a way, practice. And I think when I learned a lot in my government medical college. And that's where it's the oldest eye hospital in India, in Madras. But still, when I went from government eye hospital to Dr. Badrinath, it was like a totally, like an alien, because it was like a totally different ophthalmology, which was like an American ophthalmology, which was totally brought by Dr. Badrinath to India. And I'm glad from 84 I'm doing retina. But what I'm saying is, whatever happens, it's a hurdle, you can cross it. It is like 10 times. Tenzing Hillary said to Everest, he said, "You can't grow, but I can practice, come back, and I can climb." He did that. So I think we should do that. And I think that's my advice to every young doctor. Don't give up. See me. I think even today I have some hurdles I'm crossing. And I lost my grandmother. I thought I'm not attached. I always used to boast that I learned retinal detachment surgery and retinal reattachment surgery, and I've learned mental detachment. No. I think when I lost my grandmother, I was attached to her so much. Now slowly I'm getting detached. So today I decided I'll do something in the native place. That's why I've come here in Tenkasi. So I hope I'll start a new hospital here. And again, that means I have to start from zero. I have to go up. So I'll do that. Sonal, I think it was a really, I'm sorry, I did a long answer, but I hope it stimulates everybody. And everybody has seen failure. You see the Dr. Badrinath, Dr. Nagpal, Dr. Nam, everybody has some problems, but they may tell, they may not tell. But I think when you work as a fellow, you'll know your own teacher's failure. And I think failure is not a problem. And that's what Einstein said. And that's what Thomas Alva Edison said. 999 times he failed. Somebody asked him, "How can you fail so many times?" He said, "No, I know how I cannot make a bulb 999 times." So that's a great answer. And that's a great example. So you're not failed. Yeah, just because one thing didn't work and you can again do. Only you give up. And that's what Muhammad Ali said. When you are hit in the floor in the boxing ring, and when you fall down, when you count 9, you don't get up, then you fail. He says when you count 9, you train your brain. You may be in coma, or you may be lost your sensation. You don't have you can't hear, but he says count 9 should wake you up, get up and box him back, and you can do that. And I think that's what is life. Even you can go to the rock bottom of your life and you can come up. And I think every youngster now, I think I'm glad Dr. Naresh Motwani has joined. Dr. Naresh Motwani, you can put your video on. And thank you, Sonal. And
thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the answer for guiding residents. Thank you so much, sir.
Naresh, can you put your video on? Naresh is a senior ophthalmologist who was practicing in Delhi and now migrated to UK. So he could not log in. So he was a little upset that he couldn't hear your first part. Maybe you'll have the recording. We are going to, I believe Raman has texted us that there's a world over problem with Google and YouTube today. So we are happy. We are live with Facebook. Facebook is different. So Naresh, can you come on? Can you show your screen? Can you unmute your? Oh, you're connecting still. Naresh? Naresh, can you hear us? Okay, Digvijay, you can probably welcome him when he joins. I think he's taking time. Sorry, I interrupted.
Yes. No. So I thought I'll now quickly have two quick questions actually that we got for Farhan ma'am. And the first question is something which you were saying, sir, that the concept of saying I'm a world-class surgeon, I'm the best person, for a young ophthalmologist, is that not likely to kind of stop him from improving himself further if he starts thinking that I'm amazing, which is what we should think, and we've been just taught to think. But what's the difference between that, Ms. Farhan, and thinking I'm amazing, and the humility or the knowingness to know that you need to learn more, and you are really not as amazing as possibly you're telling yourself you are?
That's the simple difference between ego and confidence. One you're operating from a point of being egoistic, okay, which says ego. And when you're egoistic, it's actually edging God out. That's what ego stands for. I am the best. When you say I am amazing, it's more to say I am doing my best. It's more from a confidence point of view. It's more from a kinder point of view, which means when I shout, I am amazing, my next thing in my workshops are you all are amazing. Of course, I can't say that here, but otherwise you turn to your partner and say, you are amazing. So it's like, I am amazing, you are amazing. So one is ego, and definitely ego when we think we've achieved everything.
And the other question was,
not, yeah, sorry, go on. Sorry, go on. Somebody was talking.
So the other question is, it's very common for us to have negative thoughts pop in. When we are doing a surgery, we know it's something tough. The first thought is, what if this happens? What if this happens? How can we get that out of the mind and say, this will be all right at the end of the day?
I call it parking a thought, to park it. Okay, so sometimes it happens to me at night. All right, so something that's bothering me tends to overplay or amplify before you go to sleep. So I actually take it and park it for the morning. So when you're doing a surgery, and I'm sorry, I have, I give you full credit. I'm not even pretending to be a doctor. I can imagine the kind of pressure you people must be on. But I say park the thought. It doesn't have space in my today. It doesn't have space in my now. So it's a matter of parking it and saying, I will deal with it at later. Your mind actually does believe everything you say, huh? By the way. It's like sometimes when I'm wearing white and I've got a coffee and you keep saying, I'm going to drop the coffee, you will drop that coffee. You will drop that coffee on the white shirt. So it's things like that. Our mind, we don't understand the difference between us talking to our mind or mind. You see, the prefrontal cortex is just what I think just developed with us humans. So that is that decision-making factor there, which we don't know. Beautiful book, incidentally, on this called David Rock, Brain at Work, which actually tells you this, is how do you sectionalize your mind? I call it parking it, compartmentalizing a problem. So to take it a little further, do I have 1 minute more to take it a little further?
Yes, certainly.
Okay, so just to take it a little further, y'all are doctors, so I'm not even pretending to be in your shoes, but I'm a mother. I have faced my crisis as a mother. So in many instances, when I am in a panic space, I cool myself down by saying, I'm not going to address that. What if? The what if can really, really mess you up, because the what if is very dangerous space to be in, right? Like, bring the power to you today. What is the best I can do at this moment? How do I deal with the crisis at this moment? The power of now. You can reach out to me, huh? I can teach you these meditations. Or, just fix up a Zoom one day in a calmer space, few people, because meditation can't be taught like this on live. I'll need to see everybody, see your faces, direct you through it. I don't know if I've answered you. I hope I have.
Digvijay, no, your question is, I think, as Farhana says, it's to create self-confidence. But talking to a patient, that's a problem. Even for me, I felt a little odd when I told that patient, because she came with a explosive hemorrhage following injury, and 77-year-old lady fell down 2 days back, and then the whole eye's gone, and it's like almost gone eye. She went to several ophthalmologists. Sorry. So I think the main question thing is, at least if you see the Rajnikant's biography, which is written by ophthalmologist called Gayatri Srikanth. She is practicing in UK, and she said, she mentioned that in the Rajnikant biography, because Rajnikant studied in a film institute, and he had a teacher called Gopal Iyer, I think, and he told him that you go and see yourself in the face, how can you be a hero? But he was pestering him every time after the class, and he says, I want to go and meet director Balachandar, and I want to act. Then he gets fed up as a teacher. He says, okay, go to the mirror and say that you are the greatest hero in the world. And actually, he's described that the toilet in that mirror had that brownish circles. That means the old mirror, which is damaged. The silver nitrate is gone. And he goes there, and he looks very horrible when he was doing his film institute, when he was a conductor, with the uncut hair and looking shabby and dark. So, color was not the problem, but he was looking like that. He didn't carry himself. So he goes to the mirror and he says daily, you are the greatest hero in the world. And he became. And the idea is to tell yourself. And as Farhana said, you have to talk to yourself. And he was a conductor. And then he wanted to be a hero. But first 5 movies, Rajnikant was introduced as a villain to Kamala Hassan. And the first movie, one of the first movie was Nenethala Nikam, which is my favorite movie. In that movie only it says morning coffee in Japan, afternoon in London, and dinner in cabaret in New York. And that's how it will come. And then finally, end of the day in Thailand for a massage. But it's how can you do all that? And that was the law of attraction. But anyhow, I did that several times. Now that's I keep traveling like that. So I think the idea is one telling yourself, and there's a difference between boasting and promoting yourself. So you have to promote yourself as a good surgeon, and that is why even Napoleon Bonaparte and Hitler, They also won the war the night before. And if you've seen in Ramayana, even Ram was perplexed with the Ravan, because he comes with 10 images and he doesn't know who's the real Ravan. And he has to pray sun god. That means he meditated. He meditated, and then even if it was a real story, he meditated, and then he decided he could find out with closing the eye. And same thing I think Arjun did. Closing the eye, he could hit the target, the fish which was moving. So I think it's all in the mind. And I think Ekelwe is another great example. So, and there's a thing called mirror neuron. As a surgeon, you see some surgeon doing a particular way, you practice that in the mind, you can do it next day. And that's what I do for any new instruments, for any new surgery, any technique. Many times the company fellow will keep on trying. When I got the 3D, he was telling me you have to do 5 cases this, and then you have to do orientation. I said, no, my hands, my legs, my eyes work with the machine, because I'm already mentally ready. So I know what I'm going to do. So you do it before, and I take on my birthday very complex PVR cases and reattach the retina. Whatever it is, disc and macula will be attached, whether it will be attached or not. But I think on the table I do it, and that's a challenge I take myself, and I do it. So I think that's what I'm not want to practice now. Whoever gives up retina, I can take it up and do. So as a young surgeon, you can't be overconfident, and that's not good for you. It's like driving. You imagine yourself, you learn driving from driving school, and you're going to drive on the road. How can you call you are the best driver? And you know yourself. So you have to drive, you have to get experience, make sure you don't make accident, and you only make a small accident, and make sure you come. And then that's what Einstein says. Make a mistake, learn from that, and don't repeat the mistake. But he says if you repeat the mistake, you're an idiot. So same thing with complications or technique of surgery. Is Naresh there? Naresh Motwani? Naresh? Okay. Anyhow, go ahead. Devakant, your mic is working, and Digvijay and Raju.
Yes, it's working. Thank you so much.
You can ask questions.
So can you hear?
Yes, Devakant, we can hear you.
Yeah. Yes. My thanks to Farhana ma'am for such an excellent talk, and the discussion has been fabulous so far. My question is, like all new surgeons, especially in a branch like retina surgery, sir knows that well, that when you start surgery, you are quite affected by your results. Initial 6 months when I was in practice doing independent surgeries, it was a tough time. So how to maintain that balance where you are involved enough that you given your 100% for the patient, but detached at the same time, so that you're not affected too much by the results and mess up the further surgeries that are lined up, or your something of that sort.
So any athletic person or sports they say you need a mentor, and I think it's true for even for mind, like you need a mentor like Farhana, and for a surgeon you need a mentor. So wherever you have done fellowship, or sometimes I think I have so many people done elsewhere, they ask me, can I call you? I said they call me. So I think you have to call your mentor and tell this is what happened, this is what you did, and I'm sure the mentor will have time to answer you. You know, all of us are busy, but I always answer. Right now also, one of my fellow trained maybe 10 years back or 15 years back. He knew that I'm coming today, so he's coming all the way from Trivandrum to see me, and I create time. Whatever is my appointment with anybody, I see my fellows, and I think because that's a love for teaching. I'm sure whoever is your mentor, or you can call me also. So what I'm trying to say is, you need a senior person to bank on, and I did that. I was fortunate. My other OT was Dr. Badinath. So always I could call him and tell him to see. Sometimes he'll come, sometimes he may not come. But it was nice there, and we all worked together daily. So we could share it daily. So every day morning, 8 o'clock, we were discussing what happened the day before. And then, we did something, and we always learn what we can do different. So I think as a young surgeon, every day it's a problem, because one, the patient asks you too many questions, and you are nervous. And then I think the nervous, I always tell the patient, you ask me, you make me nervous, what do you gain? I said, unfortunately, you'll get a bad result. If I am nervous, my hands will shiver. So that's why confidence is important. And that's why when I went to Kashmir, I was not disturbed by anything, neither by the militant, not by the politics, not by the chief minister, or by the army. And I was there, and I knew, I saw the Second World War movie. I'm going as a doctor in the Red Cross. And I saw in that movie all the Second World War movie that no nurse or doctors injured when they carry the stretcher. So same thing. I expected that it happened. And I think nobody touched us, nobody questioned us. And next few times when I went, whether it was the border security force or the CISF or the army, I think they salute you and go because they know that I was the only surgeon who went and then made sure that I went again and again and operated hundreds of surgeries. And I think it's world record. And now New York Times quotes, and during this US the Floyd rubber bullet injuries, they quoted me. I think the idea is to say that we have to prevent injuries, but at the same time, you can do the best. And I think when I
Hello. Hello.
I think there's some connection issue at his end.
Ah, okay.
Raman,
Can I just add to something that you were
please,
you
please,
asked Dr. Mishra? Can I just add to it? Okay.
please go ahead.
So I absolutely agree with what Dr. Natarajan, and that's on being in person as a doctor. He's given you the right advice. I'm going to take it on a little more personal basis. I think, to practice a bit of surrender, to be in a bit of surrender keeps you free of consequences. We all can do our best, but sometimes we just can't control the result, with anything, right? So when you live in a state of surrender, and surrender, I mean to something which is larger than us, to whether you talk about God or universe or whatever, or the higher energy, it also gives you a space of security, that there is something above me. So as a doctor, I think, yeah, it's like science God. So I don't know if that's making, if I'm answering your question to what
Yes,
you,
that
yeah.
indeed makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I think we lost Dr. Natarajan somewhere.
So we can have Dr. Subhati, sir, if you have anything, a comment.
So I think he has also logged out. He was supposed to leave.
So maybe Farhana ma'am, if you could, could you give us a glimpse into the 5-minute meditation? Probably that was something that Dr. Natarajan sir would want before we could close. Then if we could.
Really? Now? Okay.
Why not?
Okay, you need a lot more than just this. You need some light music. You need to be in a very comfortable spot. But okay, let me try and take you from here. Okay, so what is meditation actually? It is a quietening of the mind. It's nothing else. So, most of the time when people say, oh my God, I have to learn how to meditate. No, there is no learning. You know how to do it. Inherently, we all know how to meditate. It's just that sometimes we give these very Western terminologies and we get lost in confusion and translation. Meditation is nothing but being, just being, to be. So when you're watching a sunset, you're sitting out in nature and your mind goes into an alpha no space where there is nothing happening for at least 1.5 minutes. I think we can achieve that, where you just stare and you're just staring, it's blank. I get into a meditative space in many different instances when I'm running, when I'm driving. Okay, driving, I don't mean you go unconscious, but you're only in that space when you're only doing that one thing in fullness. So I'm sure even when you all are operating, the world dissolves. You're in flow. Do you all people know what is flow? Do you understand what is flow? To be absolutely absorbed in that moment, to be in the present so totally that time fades away. So that's flow. When I meditate, I would suggest, it is going to be a little tricky right now to do it, but I'm going to try. 6 deep breaths, 6 completely deep breaths. This is only my second breath. Huh? Now imagine there is beautiful wet sand. And you're actually feeling it dropping all over yourself. There's this warm, beautiful sand dropping all over you. And keep breathing. Let your breath go down. Bring your mind more down into your heart. Live in your heart. The sand is dropping all over your face, all over yourself. It's soft. You can feel it all around you. Then it's going down, 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 all through your body. And keep breathing. It's all the way down to my belly. It's going down to my hips, down to my legs. And as I'm breathing, my breath is also going lower and lower. Somewhere, if you feel like closing your eyes, please do. So take a deep breath. You can feel your breath going all the way down. And you're enveloped in this soft, mushy feel. You can feel it reaching your legs, your knees, all the way to your toes. As I breathe through, I can feel my breath all over my body. It's a deep breath reaching my belly. Take your awareness down to your toes and up to your head again. Now I want you to picturize this beautiful place that you want to be. Could be on the beach or on the mountains. You've got the most beautiful scenery all around you. Everything looks really pretty and beautiful. While you're breathing, you can still feel yourself in this warm glow you have created around you. In your special place, feel the air, breathe deeply, wake up all your senses. Smell. And be in this moment as long as you want. Your breath should have slowed down to maybe 4 breaths in a minute. Whenever you're ready, open your eyes so I know I have all of you here. Take your time. Don't be in a hurry. It's a nice space to be in. And have your attention back to the present. Slowly open your eyes and stretch. Dr. Singh, can I have your attention? Lakshmi?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
How was it for you? Could I do
That
it?
was,
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I could
yes.
do it.
I was a little lost actually. You had to
Okay.
call me back in.
Yeah, so I did take you in there, right? You were not
Yes.
lost. You were not lost. You were in this beautiful alpha space. And if you realize and you really have reached there, you will feel that all of this feels lighter because you've got out of this screen of living. We live here, you know. So the next meditation I would tell you is how you go onto the computer and you hit the cross button that closes the screen. There's a screen we have here. Hit the cross button and close the screen. Live more lower, live in your heart. It's a more happier space to live in. Anybody else wants to share? I know you got in somewhere. Anybody else wants to share? Lakshmi, were you able to meditate?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I felt very light, ma'am.
Very,
Time being stress-free, very peaceful.
yeah. Your eyes almost feels lighter. I could feel it in 4 and 5 breaths just as soon as I took you all there. So because I do it so regularly, it will happen. If you just keep on practicing it, it will happen. And it'll happen in such beautiful ways because you'll just feel that calming sensation. What about Dr. Misra? Did you feel it? And I don't know if Dr. Natarajan is there or he's not there. I'm not sure.
Ma'am, he is on speakerphone, ma'am.
Okay.
He is here. Sir is hearing you.
I'm hearing you through Lakshmi's phone. My internet, I don't know how it's coming and going, but I'm able to hear you through Lakshmi.
Were you able to meditate, Dr. Natarajan?
No, I would probably talk to you separately and do it.
Right. So I don't know your name. There is nothing. It's just written iPhone. I don't know your name.
Dr. Raju. Dr. Raju.
I know that he could meditate because he gave me a thumbs up at some point. Okay. Anything else, Dr. Singh, that I can do for you? You can reach out to me. I'll teach you a grounding meditation. So it's actually to just ground yourself. You know, when we feel sometimes a bit thrown through life, you know, how you feel shaky in life, you don't feel like you're firm. It's a meditation. It grounds you. So I like that very much, and especially in difficult, challenging times. So, yeah.
So no, I think that was absolutely wonderful. I'm going to ask all young ophthalmologists to go and subscribe to Miraki.in, and probably they'll all take part in some more sessions and some more meditations, and it's going to help all of us. We're all life is very busy otherwise, and sometimes even these 5 minutes can take care of the whole day for you. I think that's nice.
Yes,
kind
absolutely.
of just, I could have been there for a longer period in that stage, actually. But
Yeah.
But that's living in that moment, just when you live in that flow, when you get into that moment. So you can practice this on a daily basis. It's like if I'm having a coffee, I just sit for the 2 minutes and have only my coffee. Or when you're showering, just only shower. no thought at that point. So when you live mindfully in that now, the world is so beautiful because everything else around you can collapse, it's just you in that space.
Right.
Are you on Instagram? Anybody? Are you all on Instagram? Please follow me. Very active on Instagram. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll give it for Dr. Raju sir. I'll hand it over to Dr. Raju sir and Dr. Natarajan sir to complete the.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
I think it was excellent and very, very great experience. I never thought that these things are so good because I've never been doing any meditation. But today, Mrs. Varana has taught us the advantages and the benefit that accrue from doing this meditation. Thank you, madam, for that excellent discourse on this topic. And you have rightly said that everything should be on action, not knowing things. You know so many things, you don't put it into practice. So action, you said the right thing. And also the second greatest thing that I was able to appreciate and comprehend was that we have to learn from our mistakes. Then only you become, better. You improve yourself. You praise yourself only after learning so many mistakes. You commit so many of the mistakes. Once you start correcting it and learn from that, then you really become a great man. And that mental, the infusion of strength into your mind, what she said as a mental strength, yeah, that is what we should aim for. Thank you, madam. That was a very excellent discourse, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Thank you so much again to Dr. Natarajan for putting this together for me. Appreciate it totally. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
I hope you can hear me.
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay, thank you, Farhana. And thank you, Digvijay, Raman, Anshita, and also the Meraki team. Actually, specifically, finally to do it. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Digvijay, congratulations. Yes, you conducted the session. Excellent. Very methodical and,
As Dr. Natarajan said, your seniors are the mentors, sir. We are just learning from you. That's how it is.
I just want to share one instance with you. So it was, I am an ophthalmologist, Ms. Varana may not know that. And it was my peak period. Then I met with a very, very great setback in my career. 15 of my patients operated on a day developed a very drastic complication called endophthalmitis. All of them lost vision. We came to know that it was due to a contamination of an irrigation solution. And the impact in the society was so great. There were Lok Sabha interpellations. There were talks in barber shops, tea shops, and all, newspaper carrying all exaggerated journalism and all those things. But first I was at a loss as to what to do. Then I thought, I am not at fault. I had the confidence. I did the right thing. And I have been doing this for the last 10 years, and all of a sudden this. So as she said, I became mentally more strong, and I started operating again without any break. And the next day, when I was in the operation theater, somebody called to console me, a colleague of mine, Dr. Raju, where are you? I said, I am in the operation theater. He was just wondering, and I was operating upon a minister. So that is the strength you must have. And finally, even the case went to the Supreme Court even, and the Supreme Court also did not find any fault with the doctor. So that is what you must learn from your experience. You have a lot of things to experience. I have an advice to the PGs as well. They said that they didn't have the right time. They lost so much of their time caring for something non-ophthalmological. There is nothing called non-ophthalmological. They learned that what is this COVID and what damage it has done, how they were able to help them out. So you become a more confident, more mature, and become a better doctor. Many people did not have that opportunity. You must consider yourself fortunate that you have the opportunity to be with them and be of help to them. That is really great. So think that way and take advantage of that solution also. That's my opinion.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's one of the most difficult things what you must have been through. And I completely congratulate you and admire your tenacity to build that kind of resilience and strength. It's not easy, what you've just described. Yeah.
Great, Farhana, Raju. Thank you, Lakshmi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
ma'am. Thank you for
Good
having
evening.
Okay,
me.
bye. Good
Thank you.
night.
Thank you, everyone.
What an excellent session.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
N third
Bye,
team. Thank you, Raman sir.
Thank you,
Bye.
Farhana. I think every eye doctor will have eye on you now.
Pardon?
Every eye doctor will have eye on you.
Well, Dr. Natarajan, you are the biggest one, so it's okay. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much, my dear. Bye, bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raman sir.
Bye, Lakshmi. Bye, Raman. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.